Every day, over 10 million Filipinos work and live abroad. They are known as overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs. These are people working in construction sites, hospitals, offices, and homes. You'll find them in the Middle East, Europe, Asia, and North America. Their jobs may differ, but their goal is the same: to earn a better income and provide a stable future for their families. For decades, OFWs have been the backbone of the Philippine economy. In 2024 alone, remittances from Filipinos abroad reached billions of dollars. That money helps families pay for food, education, and housing. But behind every remittance is a story of sacrifice: missing birthdays, growing distant from loved ones, and working under tough conditions. Despite all that, many continue because they believe it's worth it. They believe it's the only way to secure a better life. To understand what that life truly feels like, I decided to try it myself. For 1 week, I lived and worked like a Filipino OFW. I took on long hours, strict budgets, and emotional distance. This wasn't about pretending, it was about understanding. Understanding what millions go through every single day. From early flights leaving Manila to quiet nights missing family. This is a glimpse into the real life of a Filipino working abroad. In this video, I'll share what I learned from that experience. Lessons about hard work, discipline, and sacrifice. And why OFWs truly deserve to be called modern-day heroes. Day 1. Departure and arrival. The first day started like it does for every OFW, at the airport. Early morning, luggage packed with essentials, documents ready, and nerves kicking in. There was a mix of excitement, fear, and quiet determination. The airport was filled with Filipinos heading to different destinations abroad. Some were first-timers, others were returning after years of working overseas. I quickly realized the airport isn't just a place of travel. It's a place of emotions, raw, visible, and deeply human. Families crying, hugging tightly, giving last-minute reminders and whispered prayers. Mothers reminding their children to take care and eat well. Husbands promising to send money home as soon as possible. Children clinging to their parents, not fully understanding the goodbye. The atmosphere was heavy, yet filled with love and hope. Once I boarded the plane, the reality began to sink in. For many OFWs, this flight marks the start of years away from home. I felt the loneliness of being surrounded by strangers in a packed cabin. Flying to a foreign country, unsure of what awaited ahead. The flight was long, quiet, and filled with reflection. I looked around and saw others silently staring out the window. Some were praying, others were sleeping, and some were just thinking. After landing, the new environment felt cold and unfamiliar. The air was different, the food unfamiliar, the faces distant. Even simple things like finding transport became small challenges. Understanding the local language was harder than I expected. I checked into a small rented apartment, modest but functional. This would be home for the week, a quiet, basic space. No decorations, no family photos, just the essentials and silence. That first night, I ate instant noodles for dinner alone. It hit me hard. This is the routine for many OFWs. Working long hours and coming back to a silent room. No one to talk to, no warm meals waiting, no laughter. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the wall. I thought about the millions who do this every single day. It was the first taste of what life feels like away from home. And it was only day 1, the beginning of a long journey. Day 2, working like an OFW. The second day was all about work, real, physical labor. I joined a cleaning and maintenance crew for the entire day. This is a common job for many overseas Filipino workers. The day started early at 6 a.m. with no time to waste. There was no comfort, no office desk, no air conditioning. Just hard labor, strict schedules, and constant supervision. The tasks were physical: scrubbing floors, carrying supplies, lifting equipment. Every movement had to be fast, efficient, and precise. Mistakes weren't tolerated. They could mean pay deductions or harsh feedback. I began to understand the discipline OFWs must develop to survive. Endurance isn't optional, it's a daily requirement. Many of my co-workers were Filipinos too, working side by side. During lunch breaks, I spoke with them and heard their stories. One woman had been working abroad for over 15 years. She sends money home every month to support her children's education. She hadn't seen them grow up in person, only through video calls. Another man was saving to build a small house in the province. He worked overtime every week just to send extra cash. What struck me most was their strength and cheerfulness. Despite being far from home, they stayed motivated and focused. They knew exactly who they were doing it for, their families. By the end of the day, my body ached all over. The work was tiring, repetitive, and physically demanding. But that's the reality millions live through every single day. When I got home that night, I collapsed onto the bed. I realized why OFWs value rest so deeply, and why every peso they earn carries so much meaning. It's not just money, it's sacrifice, love, and hope. They endure not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. And that strength is something I'll never forget. Day 3, budgeting and survival. On the third day, I focused on budgeting, living like an OFW. The goal was simple: spend only on essentials and save the rest. I set a strict daily budget for food, transport, and phone credits. Eating out was too expensive, so I cooked rice and eggs at home. No snacks, no coffee shops, no unnecessary purchases, just survival mode. It made me appreciate how carefully OFWs plan every single expense. Every coin matters when you're sending money back to your family. Many OFWs I met told me saving money is the hardest part. There are bills, remittances, and unexpected costs that pop up constantly. Yet they always prioritize their families before themselves, without hesitation. Some send 70 to 80% of their earnings home every month. They live on what's left, often sacrificing comfort and convenience. I skipped lunch to stay within budget and walked instead of taking transport. Even small decisions felt heavy, like choosing between data or dinner. Living that way made me realize the discipline it takes to survive. It's not just about earning money, it's about managing it wisely. Under constant pressure, every financial choice carries emotional weight. The sense of duty was something I could feel clearly after this day. OFWs don't just work hard, they live with purpose. And that purpose shapes every decision, every sacrifice, every single day. I tracked every peso I spent and kept receipts for review. I resisted temptations like snacks, drinks, or small luxuries. I learned how to stretch a budget without losing dignity. It wasn't easy, but it was eye-opening. This is the reality for millions who live abroad. They don't just survive, they endure, plan, and sacrifice. And they do it all for the people they love most. That night, I looked at my notebook filled with expenses. It wasn't just numbers, it was a reflection of resilience. And I knew I was only beginning to understand. Day 4, homesickness and emotional reality. By the fourth day, the emotional side of being away from home started to show. Even though I was only doing this for a week, the quiet nights felt heavy. There were no familiar voices, no laughter, no comfort of home-cooked food. The silence in the apartment was louder than any noise I'd heard. I sat alone, staring at my phone, waiting for a message or call. I called my family on video chat, just for a few minutes. Seeing their faces brought warmth, but also a deep ache. That small moment made me think about the millions who do this every night. Some OFWs go months or even years without visiting home. Their relationships depend on internet calls and text messages. One worker told me he hadn't seen his wife and children in 3 years. Another said that even though she sends money regularly, she feels like a stranger to her kids when they speak. It reminded me that OFWs don't just sacrifice comfort. They sacrifice time, connection, and presence, the things money can't buy. The emotional toll is quiet but constant. It's not just about missing birthdays or holidays. It's about missing the everyday, the small moments that build relationships. Dinner conversations, school pickups, weekend laughter, all replaced by digital substitutes. I asked myself how many hugs had been missed. How many stories were told through screens instead of in person? That night, I wrote down a note in my journal. Money can replace needs, but not moments. It was a simple sentence, but it carried weight. It captured the emotional reality of millions of Filipinos abroad. They work not just with their hands, but with their hearts. They endure loneliness so their families can feel secure. And that kind of sacrifice deserves more than just admiration. It deserves understanding, respect, and recognition. Homesickness isn't just sadness, it's a quiet strength. And on day 4, I felt it deeply. Day 5, culture and adaptation. Living in another country also means adjusting to a new culture. On the 5th day, I experienced this clearly and unexpectedly. The way people spoke, behaved, or treated workers was very different. Some locals were kind and respectful, offering help and friendly smiles. Others were distant, dismissive, or simply indifferent to my presence. I realized that many OFWs must learn patience and humility daily. They face cultural misunderstandings, stereotypes, and sometimes outright discrimination. It's not just about doing the job, it's about surviving the environment. Language barriers made even small tasks complicated and frustrating. Buying groceries or asking for directions became a challenge. I mispronounced words, misunderstood signs, and felt out of place. Many OFWs I spoke with said learning the local language was essential. It was one of the hardest but most important parts of adaptation. Without it, they felt isolated, even when surrounded by people. One worker told me she practiced new words every night. She wanted to feel confident, not just competent, in her daily life. Despite these struggles, the Filipino community abroad stays united and strong. On weekends, they gather to cook, sing karaoke, and share stories. It's their way of bringing a piece of home wherever they go. They celebrate birthdays, holidays, and even small wins together. It's not just social, it's survival through solidarity. I joined one of these gatherings and felt the warmth immediately. The food was familiar, the laughter contagious, the music nostalgic. It was like stepping into a small version of the Philippines. Even in a foreign land, culture finds a way to thrive. Filipinos carry their identity with pride and resilience. They adapt without losing who they are. And that balance between change and preservation is powerful. On day 5, I saw that adaptation isn't just about fitting in. It's about holding on to what matters while learning to navigate the new. And that's something OFWs do every single day. Day 6, community and support. On the 6th day, I attended a small gathering of Filipinos abroad. They worked different jobs, caregivers, engineers, waiters, and retail staff. But they shared the same bond, the experience of being far from home. They spoke in Tagalog, ate home-cooked food, and laughed together. It was clear that the Filipino spirit doesn't fade abroad. These communities act as support systems in every sense of the word. When someone faces problems at work or needs help, others step in. They help each other find jobs, housing, or just emotional comfort. One man said he found his first job through a kababayan's referral. Another woman shared how her roommate helped her during a health emergency. These stories weren't rare, they were the norm. Filipinos abroad look out for each other like family. They celebrate together, mourn together, and lift each other up. Even when life gets hard, they find strength in unity. I saw how they organized group savings, prayer circles, and job boards. They created networks that extended beyond friendship into survival. Through their stories, I understood how vital this sense of community is. It keeps them grounded and connected to their roots. It also shows that no matter how far they go, Filipinos carry their culture proudly and protect each other fiercely. That evening, I felt genuine respect for their resilience and unity. They don't just live abroad, they build lives together. They create homes in unfamiliar places through shared experience. And that kind of support is what makes the OFW journey bearable. It's not just about sending money, it's about staying human. On day 6, I saw the heart of the Filipino diaspora, and it beats strong wherever they are in the world. Day 7, reflection and lessons. The last day was for reflection, and it hit me deeply. Living like an OFW, even for a short time, changed my perspective. It taught me lessons no statistics or headlines could ever reveal. It's easy to admire the financial success and overseas earnings, but the true story lies in their daily struggle and quiet discipline. Every OFW endures loneliness, hard work, and cultural adjustments. They do it all to give their families a better future. It's a form of strength that many people overlook or underestimate. They may not wear uniforms or hold high corporate titles, but their impact is massive on families, communities, and the nation. They are the silent force behind countless dreams and opportunities. I also realized that while money is important, emotional health matters too. Many OFWs silently deal with stress, isolation, and homesickness. They carry emotional weight that's rarely talked about or supported. More systems, from government to society, are needed to help them. Support groups, mental health services, and community outreach can make a difference. In just 1 week, I gained a deeper appreciation for their reality. The next time someone mentions OFW, pause and think. Behind that term are real people carrying real sacrifices. They deserve more than praise. They deserve protection, respect, and care. After this experience, I understood why OFWs are called modern heroes. Their stories are not just about money. They're about courage and love. They leave comfort behind to build futures for those they care about. They endure distance, pressure, and sacrifice, all for someone else's stability. If you have a family member working abroad, reach out today. A simple message, a short call, can mean the world to them. If you are an OFW yourself, know this: you are seen. Your hard work is valued. Your sacrifices are appreciated. Your story matters. For everyone watching, take a moment to recognize their contribution. The next time you see an airport farewell, look closer. Behind every departure is a dream, and behind every dream is sacrifice. OFWs are not just workers. They are lifelines to entire families. They are bridges between countries, cultures, and generations. And to all OFWs around the world, thank you. Thank you for your strength, your resilience, and your heart. You are not alone, and you are never forgotten.